If you're wondering what your favorite stocks and the market in general is likely to do this week, then this is the video for you. We have a lot of data coming out this week, including the federal interest rate decisions. So strap in, because somewhere in this video, I'm also going to show you how you can gauge what is almost guaranteed to happen in the market Monday, and you're going to be able to do it tomorrow in the early evening hours. So don't skip any part of this video. I'm constantly giving this type of information away in my Discord. This is what I teach. It's just one of the many strategies gauging the market the week ahead. It's how we printed on XYZ, Meta, Snowflake, Broadcom. We printed 20, 30, 40, even $100,000 on Oracle and Snowflake. And then Tempest AI, I have students that made $25,000 overnight. You can see those trades on the left-hand side of the screen. And if you want to make these profits, you have to understand there's a lot of risk in the market, and there's no such thing as trading without risk. But my job is to show you how to mitigate the risk, make stronger moves in the market so you can potentially make the money like my current students are making right now. It's how I'm able to live my best life, my dream life that I've always wanted to live, from bankruptcy to being able to own pretty much anything I want, my dream cars, the things I want to do, take care of my family, my kids, and just do what I love to do and help others in life. This is what it's all about. And I want to help you do the same thing. Just understand there's a lot of risk in the market, and I want to show you how to be safe and manage that risk while making profits. This is what we're constantly doing in Discord. I've had a lot of people ask me to show the Discord profits, and you can see right there on the screen the trade alerts that I put out for Meta, Snowflake, Tempest AI, Broadcom, and Oracle right there on the screen. You'll see that this student had $5,200 on a $67,000 account. This is roughly 8-9% in 1 week. Another student made 40% in a week. Another student made $58,000 in a week. Student right here made $8,000 in 1 week, $2,400 on Lumen. Another student right here made hundreds of dollars on my different trades, each of them. This student right here printed on Tempest AI, made $25,000 overnight in 1 day. This student made $64,000 in 1 day on a couple of my different trades. You can see the students are just printing on these trades. Another $1,000 for this student. Small account, $2,200. Another smaller account, $1,800. This student right here made $11,000 on my Oracle trade. $17,000 on Oracle. Right here, $100,000 in a day. And this is continually going on in the Discord. As you can see, the screenshots right there on the screen of the trade alerts I put out. Lots of people were pumping PayPal, and I told everyone to get into XYZ, get into Meta. We printed, then it was Oracle, Broadcom, Snowflake, Tempest AI, and the list just goes on and on. So if you guys are having trouble understanding anything in this video, or you want the trade alerts I'm showing on the screen right now, I would love to help you. Don't put it off. Take action now. Let me show you what you're doing wrong and why the market is rigged against you. Link to get started in Discord is below. I look forward to helping you and seeing you very soon. Let's dive into today's video and talk about the stocks at hand that are likely to move this week and the data. We're going to start off with the VIX, SPY, SOFI, Palantir, NVDA, and Tesla. Let's go ahead and look at these stocks right now. First thing we're going to look at is the VIX. The VIX shows you the volatility of the market. You can see every time the market has a spike, it comes back down. And when it hits all-time lows down here around $11, $12, like we most recently did, or almost, it spikes back up. So there is a likelihood right now we're breaking out of this wedge that it could go up or down if we get interest rate cuts. Well, then it's likely to consolidate and drop. But this week is going to have some volatility. We have a lot of data coming out this week. Retail sales on Tuesday, housing starts, building permits on Wednesday, along with the federal press conference and the interest rate decisions and the projections of economics. This is going to transpire on Wednesday, and this is going to be where the market decides its ultimate direction for the next couple of months. It's already baking in a 25 to 50 basis points in rate cut. So we will see what happens there. But we can see that when the VIX goes up, the stock market goes down. When the VIX goes down, the stock market goes up. But it's not the only thing that is indicative of the market. We also have bonds and the treasury yields, which is the 10 and the 2, and the 30-year yields, as well as 20. The 10 and 20 are never supposed to be inverted. When they invert, there's usually a recession. And when it corrects itself, there's usually signs of a recession. We had both of those happen in the past 5 years and still no recession. And that, I believe, is a strong indicator of how our market is and our economy and our overall inflation rate being held steady with interest rates. So that is a good thing. And anytime you're in between the green and the yellow, there's lots of premiums, elevated volatility, good for option selling. It's very good for option buying when you're below the green, because option selling below the green is safer, less risk, less volatility, but less premiums. When you're between the yellow and the orange, option selling and buying could be both good depending on the stock you're looking at, but it's elevated risk. Anything above orange is very risky, and above red is pure chaos, in my opinion. It's like a bloodbath. It's a pure buying opportunity usually, because when the stock market has volatility in levels above 25 or 30, any good stock that you're looking at, like Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, Google, SPY, stocks like that, Coca-Cola, it's a buying opportunity, because these stocks, when the volatility is this high, is usually going to be 10 to 15% pullback, which is a very strong buying indicator. So this is what we did in the Discord back in March and made a lot of money. Looking at SOFI, this is very likely to run. I put out a trade in my Discord for SOFI, and we are already printing on it. And if we get interest rate cuts and SOFI goes where it's supposed to go, or is likely to go based on dark pool data, we are going to make a lot of money in Discord on SOFI. Right now, if you're selling put options, you could be selling 22, 50, 23, even 24 puts. SOFI has been consistently growing and consistently exploding in an upward direction. With interest rate cuts, this is going to be even stronger. You have to understand that the economic turn that we're going for with interest rate cuts and the way the economy is going right now would favor SOFI. This would be a very strong catalyst. I've also seen exponential movements in dark pool data on SOFI, Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Visa, MasterCard in the financial sector. And this being in the financial sector as well as fintech, it also scales partially, very small, but partially with AI and the market sympathy as well. There's also been a lot of dark pool data on Palantir. In fact, there was a $55 million worth of dark pool data yesterday. And I put out a trade in my Discord that we are very likely to print a lot of money on. There's been a lot of interest in Palantir. Now is definitely the time to look at Palantir. There's always risks. You definitely want to gauge these risks and be very cautious with your portfolio. But Palantir has a lot of dark pool data, and it signifies there's a very strong likelihood this stock is going to move all the way up into the 180, 190 range or higher in the coming 2 to 3 months. It's all basically on interest rate cuts in the market and the way the market is currently going. Looking at Microsoft, this is another play that I gave Discord. Microsoft is poised to run with interest rate cuts, and this is also a stock that has broken $4 trillion recently when the stock was $562. It has calmed down. It'll probably settle in this week in the 510, 505 range. It could pull back if we don't get interest rate cuts. But if we do, it's broken this structure right here, and it's now turning back around and heading up. So Microsoft has a very strong potential with interest rate cuts to hit 525, even 530 or more by the end of the year. There's a strong potential for it. Obviously not guaranteed, but very likely based on dark pool data. Looking at Tesla, it is running. I told everybody on YouTube and the Discord that it was shaky ground for Tesla in this range. We were waiting for some catalyst or something to pop up on Tesla, which has begun to happen over the past couple of weeks. On top of that, interest rate cuts are looming. If we get interest rate cuts and things keep going the way they're going, then Tesla very well could come up into the 430, 440 range and break into the 477 range. Anybody who had an opportunity to buy down here at 290 or even down here at 229 back in April missed a very big opportunity. Even right here in my AVP, which is a strategy I teach in Discord, between 300 and 330 was a very strong buying opportunity long term. You can see anyone who bought in this range is now up $50 a share, which is $5,000 in every 100 shares or every call contract that you may have that's deep in the money. This is very strong. You might be asking yourself, well, how can I gauge this type of stock activity? How can I estimate where stocks are likely to go and time them a little bit better? Well, that's something I teach in Discord with AVP, my D-Stochastics RSI, my DFib, and of course, my other advanced masterclass strategies. I teach them in Discord. If you're having trouble understanding this market and you're having trouble understanding how to gauge entries, exits, dollar cost averaging, just having a better overall fundamental understanding of the market and becoming profitable. If you're struggling, you want to retire, I would love to help you grow your portfolio. You can get started. The link is in the information box below, and I look forward to helping you. And if you want to make the profits you're seeing on the screen right now, I definitely want to help you be able to do that just like my current students. But you have to take action now. Remember, what you put off today for tomorrow, someone else put off yesterday for today. I'm about to show you a very powerful strategy and show you how to gauge what is almost surely to happen in the market Monday morning. And you're going to be able to do this Sunday night. I'm about to show you that strategy right now and look at the SPY. But first, like I said, if you want to grow your portfolio, the link to get started in Discord is below. But don't take my word for it. Let's take a listen to my student Josh had to say, who, by the way, is about to break $1 million now, even after this testimonial. What stood out to you the most when you originally signed up for the Discord and the coaching really gave you the incentive to want to join? And do you still feel the same way now? And what would your message be to others that are, in the same situation?
You were more focused on like the actual strategy of things as opposed to, pushing a particular stock or trying to like almost trick people into like how they can get rich. I'm also a masterclass student as well. And that's where I really took things to the next level. For anyone who's thinking about joining, is anyone can do this. It's just really like putting in the work and the effort to meet Corey halfway, but he will definitely get you there. I started with about $300,000 portfolio. Initially saw about between 60 and 70,000 within my first 6 weeks, which I was very excited about. So now I'm really, really excited to share that I've grown that $300,000 portfolio to well over 500,000. I'm definitely reaping the rewards now. Don't wait. I honestly can't thank Corey enough.
So you heard my student Josh had to say, if you want this to be your success story, don't hesitate. Take action now. Let me help you understand the market better and grow your portfolio. It's what I love to do. It's what drives me every single day. It's how I'm able to live my dream life right now and take care of my children and my family. This is how we do it in the stock market with options, stocks, and all these different strategies. And I want to show you exactly what you're doing wrong. Understanding the SPY is pretty critical because it's moved by a lot of different stocks: Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and of course, Google. And there's a couple other stocks that control this as well as Meta. And when you see the SPY going down and maybe Meta and Google are going up or NVDA is going up, well, then it's likely that Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple are going down. In fact, I've seen Google, Meta, and Microsoft and even Amazon consolidating or going up, but yet SPY is consolidating or struggling. It's because Apple is tanking or dropping rapidly. Apple has a big controlling position in the SPY. So you have to understand what's actually going on in the SPY. I told everybody in the Discord and here on YouTube back in March and April, even the beginning of the year, that SPY would likely be 630 to 640 or higher by end of summer. And here we are at 657. I think the end of year target could potentially be 670, 675. And that's going to depend on interest rate cuts in the economy, but a pullback down into the 650 range or even 645 range is likely if we don't get interest rate cuts. And even if we get the rate cuts, we could still see that pullback into the end of the year and then spring next year running to 670, 680 or higher. This is typically what happens. So even with interest rate cuts, there is the potential that it could do this number right here, the end of year, and then in spring go up like that. But realistically, if we get interest rate cuts and the data continues to get better and stabilize, we could see a light pullback like this and then into the end of year, and then in January, February, pullback like that. So the crossroads is kind of right where it's at right now, fairly neutral. I feel like the SPY could go further upwards, especially if the data gets better than we even expect it to in the coming weeks and months. So there's that to look at, understand how the SPY works. So for everybody who waited to find out how to gauge the market before it opens Monday morning, you can gauge it at 6 p.m. Eastern time, Sunday night, 3 p.m. Pacific. And this is basically because futures open at 6 p.m. Eastern time. But not only that, the stock market in Japan and China open at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, and in Europe and London, 2 a.m. Eastern. There's a lot of movement overnight. Type in MES, Micro E-mini S&P 500 futures, and what you'll notice Sunday at 6 p.m. is wherever this goes is very, very strong on what's going to happen Monday morning. So if it gaps up like this, it's likely the market will go up. If it gaps down like this, it's likely the market will go down. If it gaps here, then this becomes a ceiling. If it gaps up, then this becomes the resistance. So if it gaps down, then the current price price becomes resistance. It gaps up, then the current price becomes support. And I'll show you guys something very particular back on May 12th. I want you guys to see this. Watch what happened to the S&P on May 12th on the futures. Right here on Sunday, it jumped all the way up. Look at that. Overnight hours on Sunday jumped up at 6 p.m. Sunday. See the time at the bottom? Sunday at 6 p.m. jumped up. If we were to go over to SPY, you'll see the exact same thing. Here we go, right here. On Sunday, May 12th, when the S&P 500 futures gapped up, so did the SPY on Monday. It followed the trend from what happened on the futures on Sunday. If we also look at Tesla, we go back to May 12th. There we go. You'll see the exact same thing happen right here. May 12th, gapped up. Let's go look at Microsoft. There you go. Monday, May 12th, gapped up. Whatever the S&P 500 mini future contracts do, 6 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday throughout the overnight hours is very indicative of what's almost guaranteed to happen Monday. It's not a guarantee, almost guaranteed. Very, very strong. This is how we gauge the market. You want to be looking at the MES, which is right here. You want to be looking at this MES all evening, Sunday, and overnight hours on Monday. This is going to show you what the world is doing, what's going on in the futures, which futures contracts are of the future of what's likely to happen. This is how we gauge the market every week. It's how I help my students in Discord. It's just one of my strategies. I teach stochastics, RSI, D-stochastics, DFib, AVP, my dark pool data, my hedge fund data, and how to beat the hedge funds and ride along with them, turn losses into wins, and make lots of money. It's how we've been printing the profits you can see on the screen. I have students that made $100,000 plus $130,000 on Oracle, $25,000, $50,000, $60,000 on Meta, Tempest AI, Snowflake, Broadcom, and the list goes on and on. If you would like to receive these trade alerts, profits like you're seeing on the screen, you want to better yourself, grow your portfolio, and learn how to do this the right way and live your dream life like I'm doing right now, I would love to help you grow your portfolio. The link to get started in Discord is below. Don't hesitate. Take action now. Let's make a change before the end of the year, and let me show you what you're doing wrong. It's what drives me every single day. Look forward to seeing you on the next video and in the Discord real soon. One love, fam.